When you wake up, you are already behind. Understand this. Life doesn't pause while you rest. The war doesn't start when you open your eyes. It started long before. While you slept, the clock didn't just tick. It stole from you. Seconds you will never get back. Minutes that will never return. And while you dreamed, someone else moved. Someone else acted. Someone else took the opportunity you swore yesterday you would claim today. The battlefield shifted while you were still in the warmth of your bed. Your competition, seen and unseen, advanced their position, sharpened their weapons, fortified their walls. And you were unarmed, unaware, unconscious. This is why every single morning is a declaration of war. Not a gentle beginning, not a peaceful sunrise. War. The day will not give you anything without a fight. It will not greet you with open arms. It will test you, resist you, and bleed you for every inch of progress you take. It will whisper in the first few moments after waking. Take it easy. Stay in bed. Check your phone. Ease into the day. That whisper is the first strike of the enemy. And if you lose here, if you allow yourself to linger in comfort, if you surrender your first hour, you have already compromised the rest of the day. You must understand. There are two kinds of tasks in life: the things you want to do and the things you don't want to do. Most people run toward the first, like children chasing candy, and run from the second like prey, fleeing a predator. They think productivity is about doing what feels good, what sparks joy, what inspires them in the moment. But that is why they fail. That is why years pass and their goals never materialize. Because the things they avoid, the unpleasant, the heavy, the uncomfortable, are the very gates standing between where they are and where they claim they want to be. Those gates do not open with wishful thinking. They do not respond to inspiration. They respond only to consistent, deliberate, relentless action. You want the truth? You will never win by just following your passion. You will never rise by only chasing the tasks you enjoy. That is the way of the dreamer who never becomes the doer. Passion without discipline is a flame without fuel. It flares, then dies. Victory comes when you master the art of attacking the unpleasant. Not occasionally, not when you feel like it, not when the stars align, but daily, every morning, as your first act of war. Because when you train yourself to march into discomfort without hesitation, you rob fear of its power. You silence the excuses. You strip the enemy of its first advantage. And you prove, before the day has even begun, that you are not here to be carried by momentum. You are here to create it. Lesson 1. Take the poison first. Every single day, there is a task that waits in the shadows. You know exactly what it is. It's the one that sits heavy on your chest before you even start. The one that whispers in the back of your mind, "We can deal with this later," after we warm up. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. It's not the kind of thing you'd post online to show how productive you are. It's heavy. It's cold. And it's the very thing standing between you and momentum. This task, this poison, is where most people lose. They avoid it. They delay it. They circle around it, pretending to prepare. But here's the truth. The more you wait, the more power it gains over you. It doesn't sit still. It grows. It becomes a shadow that follows you through every other task. A constant reminder of the thing you haven't touched yet. And while you're working on easier things, A part of your mind is already tired, already weakened, because it's holding the weight of that untouched poison. That's why you take it first. No warm-up, no getting in the mood, no cup of coffee to think about it. You strike like a predator on the hunt. Fast, decisive, lethal. You put the blade to the throat before it even knows you're there. This is not about efficiency. It's about dominance. When you face the thing you dread before the rest of the world is even fully awake, you strip it of its teeth. You own it. And when that happens, the rest of your day becomes lighter. Not because the tasks are easier, but because you are stronger. This is how warriors operate. In battle, you don't chip away at the edges of the enemy. You don't play it safe by attacking the weakest part first. You identify the strongest, most dangerous opponent, and you take them out at the start. Because once the strongest falls, the rest of the fight collapses in your favor. It's the same with your day. If you begin by slaying the hardest task, you set the tone for everything that follows. You tell yourself, if I can do this, I can do anything. That momentum doesn't just carry you, it compounds. You move faster, decide quicker, and execute sharper. But here's the catch. This has to be daily. If you only do it occasionally, the poison builds up again. The shadow grows back. Your mind slips into old patterns. The strength you built fades. Taking the poison first isn't a trick. It's a discipline. It's a declaration to yourself that you will not be owned by avoidance, hesitation, or fear. That you will meet resistance head-on and remove it from your path before anything else has a chance to breathe. Because when you attack the poison first, the rest of the day belongs to you. Lesson 2. Pain first, pleasure second. Once you face the poison, once you've torn into the task you dreaded, you must understand what comes next. You don't just grind endlessly. You don't strip all joy from your day until you collapse into bed like a hollow machine. That's how people burn out. That's why warriors lose their edge. Not from defeat, but from exhaustion with no reprieve. The discipline isn't in erasing pleasure. It's in delaying it, in earning it, in making sure it is the reward, not the foundation. The average person flips this around. They start with pleasure. They check their phone before getting out of bed. They wander into the day with a slow breakfast, meaningless chatter, a little entertainment, to wake up. By the time they get to the hard stuff, they've already drained the edge they woke up with. They've trained their brain to expect comfort before effort, and the brain remembers. It becomes addicted to ease and allergic to resistance. Pain first, pleasure second, rewires the entire equation. When you push yourself to conquer the hardest part of your day before you allow yourself to taste comfort, you teach your brain something dangerous. That discipline is the path to reward, not the obstacle to it. That's why this works beyond just productivity. It's identity building. It's conditioning yourself to move through discomfort to reach satisfaction, not around it. It's creating a pattern where every small victory feeds into the next. But here's where it gets powerful. When you earn pleasure through pain, the pleasure is amplified. The coffee tastes better. The walk feels freer. The time with people you care about becomes sharper, richer, more alive. Why? Because your mind is clear. The shadow of the poison task is gone. You're not sitting there pretending to relax while the weight of unfinished work eats away at you. Pain first doesn't just free the rest of the day. It elevates it. And over weeks, months, years, it becomes who you are. A person who starts with the fight and ends with the feast. A predator who feeds only after the kill. This is a rhythm, a battle rhythm. Strike first, reward second. Repeat daily. The weak will tell you to start with comfort, to get in the mood. The strong know better. Comfort at the start is a lie that numbs your blade. Comfort at the end is the victory feast, and victory always tastes better earned. Lesson 3. The Law of Daily War. If you want to rise beyond the average, if you want to transform your goals from a foggy dream into something carved in stone, you must obey a law older than you, older than business, older than time itself. The law of daily war. Every single day you are at war with two forces, resistance and momentum. They fight for control over every thought, every choice, every action you take. And only one will survive by the time the sun goes down. Resistance is the enemy's weapon. It's not loud. It's quiet. It doesn't kick down the door. It knocks softly. It's the whisper that says, "Let's do it later. Let's start small. Let's just get comfortable first." It's seductive because it feels rational. It doesn't tell you to quit outright. It just invites you to wait. But every time you wait, you give up ground. And the enemy doesn't give it back. Resistance thrives on hesitation. Every second you stand still, it digs its claws deeper. It makes the task bigger in your mind, heavier in your chest, sharper in your fears. Soon you're not fighting the task itself. You're fighting the monster you've allowed it to become. Momentum, on the other hand, is your weapon. But momentum doesn't appear out of thin air. It must be built. And you build it by doing exactly what resistance tells you to avoid. You move before you think. You act before you negotiate. You strike before the enemy even realizes you're awake. Momentum is built in those first decisive actions, when you take the hardest task and dismantle it, while others are still deciding how to start their day. And here's the truth. Momentum is fragile at first. It's like a spark. You must guard it fiercely. But once it grows, it becomes a fire that consumes everything in its path. The law of daily war is simple. Every morning, the field is neutral. No one has the high ground. You either give it to resistance, or you take it with momentum. There is no middle ground. Every time you attack early, you take back territory. You force resistance to retreat. You make the next battle easier. Every time you hesitate, you hand over territory without a fight. And resistance builds its fortress inside your head. Understand this. The war resets every single day. Yesterday's victory doesn't protect you today. You must earn it again. You must fight again. You must choose again. Because the enemy is patient. It only needs you to slip once. So you obey the law of daily war. Strike early. Strike hard. Strike before you have time to bargain with yourself. And keep striking until the enemy has nothing left to defend. Lesson 4. Your morning as a battlefield. If the day is a war, then your morning is not just the first battle. It's the decisive battle. It's the moment where victory is either taken or surrendered before the enemy even reveals its full strength. Think of it like this. If you control the high ground at the start of a war, every fight that follows becomes easier. You see the enemy coming before they reach you. You dictate where the battles happen. You force them to fight on your terms. Your morning is that high ground. Whoever claims it, you or resistance, will own the rest of the day. Why the morning matters more than any other time. When you first wake, your mind is unscarred. The noise of the world hasn't invaded yet. The obligations, the distractions, the constant drip of meaningless demands, they haven't breached your gates. You are standing in the calm before the chaos, holding the weapon of pure, undiluted focus. This is the most dangerous version of you the world will see all day. Not because you feel good, not because you're ready, but because you still have complete sovereignty over where your energy goes. And yet, most people waste this. They open their eyes and immediately hand the high ground over to the enemy. They grab their phone, they check messages, they scroll. They start the day as a reactor, not a commander. What they don't realize is that every one of those decisions is a surrender. It's the equivalent of walking away from your fortress and leaving the gates wide open. The enemy doesn't even need to storm the walls. They're already inside. How the enemy attacks? First, resistance knows that if it can take your morning, it doesn't have to fight you the rest of the day. It's why the first 15 minutes after you wake are the most dangerous. You are at your most vulnerable. The enemy will send whispers, ease into the day. You've got time. Let's start with something light. It's not telling you to quit outright. It's too smart for that. It's telling you to delay. But delay is death. Every minute you spend negotiating with yourself in the morning is a minute resistance digs trenches and builds walls inside your head. And the longer you wait to strike, the harder it is to break through. The warrior's morning. A warrior does not wander into the morning unprepared. They plan their first strike before the sun rises, sometimes the night before. They know exactly what needs to be done and what target needs to be eliminated first. The warrior's morning has no wasted motion, no meaningless scrolling, no warming up with trivial tasks. They rise and they move. They attack the poison first, the task they least want to do, the one that resistance is already guarding. And they destroy it before the rest of the world has even found its footing. When you do this, something happens. Momentum shifts instantly. The battlefield bends in your favor. You're no longer reacting to the day. You're dictating it. The compounding victory. The beauty of winning the morning is that it doesn't just protect that single day. It compounds. Win one morning, and you'll feel the difference for the rest of the day. Win 3 in a row, and you'll start noticing progress in places you didn't expect. Win 30 in a row, and your identity changes. Because the person who owns their mornings becomes the kind of person who owns their life. The average man or woman spends their life chasing the day, always trying to catch up. The warrior pulls the day toward them. They make the day fight to keep up with them, preparing for the morning battle. You can't stumble into a victorious morning. You must prepare for it. Set your battlefield the night before. Lay out what you will do the moment you wake. No thinking, no decisions. The plan is ready before you open your eyes. Guard the first hour like a king guards the throne. No distractions, no reactive tasks. This hour is sacred ground. Strike fast. Speed is power in the morning. The longer you wait, the stronger resistance becomes. Remove obstacles. If your tools aren't ready, your environment isn't set, or you have to search for what you need, you're already losing ground. Finish a decisive task, not busy work, something that moves you closer to your highest goal. The unbreakable truth. The person who controls the morning controls the war. The person who controls the war controls their life. And the person who loses the morning, they are already halfway to losing everything else. So treat your morning like the enemy is already at the gate. Because they are. Move fast, strike hard, and never, ever let the high ground slip from your hands. Lesson 5. The compound effect of balance. Winning a single battle means nothing if you can't win the war. Anyone can get up early one morning and crush their hardest task. Anyone can have a good day by accident. But mastery, true mastery, is not built on single victories. It's built on the relentless stacking of small, deliberate wins until they become unstoppable. This is where most warriors fail. They push hard for a few days, maybe a few weeks, fueled by adrenaline and novelty. But they forget one of the oldest laws of war. A battle rhythm must be sustainable. Not comfortable. Not easy. Sustainable. The key to sustaining the war is balance. Not balance in the weak sense. The soft, modern idea of do whatever feels good. I mean balance as a weapon. Balance as a strategic division between the pain you choose and the pleasure you earn. Why balance matters in war. If you only focus on the hard tasks, you become a machine without a soul. You grind until the gears seize. And when that happens, you collapse. Not because you were defeated by the enemy, but because you burned yourself out. If you only focus on what's enjoyable, you become soft. You avoid resistance. You spend your life busy but never powerful. And when the real fight comes, you're crushed in seconds. The warrior's balance is different. It's the intentional weaving of both pain and pleasure into the fabric of each day, executed in the right order, at the right intensity, every single time. The formula: pain first, pleasure second. We already know this rule. Face the poison before you taste the reward. But when you repeat this structure daily, it does something extraordinary. It compounds. Think of compounding like interest in a bank account, but instead of money, you're stacking momentum, discipline, and mental strength. Each day you begin with a hard win. You add a deposit to the account of your identity. Each day you follow that win with earned pleasure. You reinforce the belief that discipline leads to reward. Do this for a week and you feel stronger. Do this for a month and you start producing results people can see. Do this for a year and you won't recognize the person staring back in the mirror. The enemy's counterattack. Make no mistake, resistance will adapt. Once it realizes you've mastered the morning and embraced the poison-first philosophy, it will try to disrupt the balance. It will tell you, you don't need a break. Just keep going. It will try to grind you into the ground until you break under the weight of exhaustion. Or it will whisper, you've earned more comfort today. You can skip the hard part just this once. That's why balance is not a suggestion. It's a shield. Without it, you leave openings in your defense. How to weaponize balance. Identify your poison daily. Every night before bed, name the hardest task you will face tomorrow. This becomes the first strike in your morning battle. Attack without negotiation. Execute it as soon as the day begins. Before email, before messages, before anything else. Earn the reward. Choose one meaningful, energizing activity as your victory feast. This is not mindless indulgence. It must recharge you for the next fight. Repeat, without breaks. Balance is built in streaks. Skip one day and the chain weakens. Skip two and resistance smells blood. Adjust intensity, not order. If you're tired or burned out, make the poison smaller, but never change the sequence. Pain first, pleasure second. The long game. This system is not about today. It's about building a life where winning becomes automatic, where your default mode is forward motion, where your enemies, internal or external, can't keep up because you never give them room to breathe. When you attack the poison first, you start the fire. When you follow it with earned pleasure, you keep the fire alive. Do this daily, and you'll be the one dictating the war, not reacting to it. And that's the truth most people never grasp. Balance isn't about keeping peace. It's about sustaining victory. Lesson 6. Command and conquer. Winning your own battles is power. But controlling the battlefield itself, that's dominance. Most people fight each day like they're trapped inside it. They dodge bullets. They respond to attacks. They survive until nightfall. Even the disciplined often live like this. They win their tasks, but they still play inside boundaries the world has set for them. That's not enough. When you've mastered the poison first, pain before pleasure, the law of daily war, the morning battlefield, and the compound effect, you've earned the right to stop thinking like a soldier and start thinking like a commander. From foot soldier to general. A soldier fights where they're told. A general decides where the war will happen. This is your shift now. You stop reacting to what the day throws at you and start engineering the day itself. You stop being shaped by the world's demands and start shaping the environment in which you operate. This means you choose which battles matter and you ignore the ones that don't. You eliminate tasks, people, and distractions that drain your resources. You set the pace others must match instead of keeping up with theirs. The art of dictating pace. In war, pace kills. If you control the speed of the fight, you control the outcome. When you operate faster and more decisively than your competition, whether in business, training, or life, you force them into a permanent state of reaction. They spend their days chasing you, never catching up. This is where you stop playing defense entirely. Your morning is no longer just preparation. It's the opening strike that forces the world to keep up with you. Total battlefield awareness. When you fight like this, you begin to see the bigger picture. You recognize where resistance will try to strike before it happens. You anticipate distractions before they even reach you. You position yourself so that the hardest parts of the day are already finished before the average person has even begun. By noon, you've already conquered what most will avoid until nightfall, if they ever do it at all. And that creates a gap so wide, no one can close it. Dominance is a responsibility. Understand this. Command is not about arrogance. It's about responsibility. When you control the battlefield, others will follow your lead, consciously or not. Your discipline will set the standard in your circle. Your pace will drag others forward or leave them behind. And this is where the war becomes something greater than yourself. Lesson 7. The Relentless Advance. You've learned to attack the day. You've faced the poison first. You've embraced pain before pleasure. You've obeyed the law of daily war. You've claimed the morning battlefield. You've harnessed the compound effect of balance. You've stepped into command and dictated the pace. Now comes the part that breaks most people. The part where they slow down. The part where they believe the war is over. They think because they've built discipline, they can relax. They think because they've conquered their morning, they can coast. They think because they've reached a level others admire, they can afford to stand still. That's the trap. That's how predators become prey again. There is no finish line. Warriors who last understand this. There's no final victory. There's no point where you hang your sword and live in eternal peace. There's always another mountain, another enemy, another layer of yourself to sharpen and refine. The moment you stop advancing, you invite erosion. Discipline fades, skills dull, resistance regroups. You can't defend forever. You either push forward or you get pushed back. Relentless advance means you never stop building, not because you're never satisfied, but because you refuse to be overtaken. Forward motion is survival. In battle, staying still is death. It doesn't matter how good your position is. If you stop moving, the enemy will encircle you. In life, it's the same. The market changes. People evolve. Circumstances shift. If you're standing still, you're already falling behind. This is why the relentless advance is not optional. It's survival. The rhythm of advancement. By now, your daily system is a machine. Poison first, pain before pleasure, high ground in the morning, pace dictated by you. The relentless advance is about applying that system to bigger and bigger targets. You start with your own life, tasks, habits, health, mindset. Then you expand to your work, projects, income, influence. Then you extend into the environment around you. Teams, systems, networks, opportunities. Every area you touch begins to operate at your pace. Every person you work with adapts to your rhythm or gets left behind. Every challenge becomes another piece of territory to claim. Never let the gap close. Here's the brutal truth. Once you create a gap between you and the average, you have to protect it. The average will try to catch up. They'll mimic your habits, copy your strategies, imitate your pace. Most will quit before they reach you, but some will be persistent. And if you stop moving, they will close the distance. Relentless advance means widening the gap every single day, so it becomes impossible for anyone to catch you. What this looks like in practice: raise the standard. As soon as something becomes easy, increase the difficulty. Expand your reach. Apply your discipline to new arenas: physical, mental, financial, strategic. Evolve your tactics. Never fight today's war with yesterday's strategy. Measure in years, not days. The relentless advance is not about winning the morning. It's about dominating the decade. Lesson 8. Legacy of the battlefield. At first, the war was about survival. Then it became about victory. Then about dominance. Now, it becomes about permanence. You fought long enough that the rhythm is second nature. You've advanced far enough that the gap between you and the rest is almost immeasurable. You've won so consistently that your position feels unshakable. But there's one more truth you have to face. Even the strongest warrior will eventually fall. Not from defeat, but from time. And when that day comes, the question will not be what you accomplished. It will be, what did you leave behind? From self-mastery to world-shaping. When you reach this stage, the war stops being just yours. It becomes about the ones who will come after. Your team, your family, your students, the people you influence without even realizing it. If all your victories die with you, then your war ends at your last breath. But if you embed your discipline, your systems, your pace into others, then the war continues long after you're gone, and you keep winning battles you'll never see. The transfer of power. Legacy is not built by words. It's built by demonstration. People remember what you showed them, not what you told them. If they've seen you, take the poison first, every morning without fail. Put pain before pleasure, no matter the temptation. Guard the morning battlefield like a fortress. Advance relentlessly, never letting the gap close. Command the environment instead of being commanded by it. Then they don't just learn from you, they become you. And when they become you, your war multiplies. Systems over sentiment. Legacy is not built on inspiration alone. It's built on systems that survive without you. This means creating structures, routines, and strategies that are so simple and effective, they can be passed on, adapted, and scaled. It's not enough to be great. You must leave behind a blueprint for greatness. Outliving yourself. Think beyond your own timeline. Every habit you live, every standard you set, every pace you dictate, it's either building a chain that will hold others back, or a ladder they can climb. Legacy is choosing the latter. It's ensuring that long after you're gone, your influence is still pushing others forward. The true endgame. In the beginning, the war was about you, but in the end, the war is about us. Those who come after. Those who pick up where you left off. When you fight with legacy in mind, your victories echo far beyond your life. Your war becomes eternal, not because you never fall, but because you make sure the fight never stops. And that is how a warrior becomes immortal. Every morning, the war begins. And now, you know the rules. You wake already behind, because the enemy never sleeps. You understand that victory comes from taking the poison first, killing the task you fear before it grows teeth. You know to place pain before pleasure, earning the reward through blood, not theft. You obey the law of daily war, striking early before resistance fortifies its position. You see your morning as the battlefield, the high ground you must claim before the sun has fully risen. You harness the compound effect of balance, building streaks that turn into dominance. And you accept the identity shift, killing the old self who hesitated and becoming the predator who hunts the day. These are not tips. They're not tricks. They're weapons. But weapons alone mean nothing without the will to use them. Every day, without fail, without exception, without excuse. Because this war is not won once. It's won daily. The enemy will be there tomorrow, whispering the same lies. The battlefield will reset. The fight will begin again. And when it does, you will not hesitate. You will not wait for motivation. You will not wonder if today is the day you strike. You will wake up already moving, already hunting, already certain that the day belongs to you because you are willing to take it by force. So remember this, the day will not hand you anything. It will fight you for every inch. But if you fight harder, if you fight first, if you fight every morning like it's the only one you'll ever get, you will win. Again, and again, and again, until victory is no longer an outcome. It's your nature.